Hello Pop Snappers, my name's Jimmy and this is Alphabet, and we've got a huge devlog update for you today. So we've got a brand new CMS that's been built in Flutter and Firebase, a brand new app icon, a brand new app character, some cool SVG manipulation tools, and the CMS has been supercharged with Gemini. So a lot to go through. I'm going to try and keep it really brief and snappy though, so let me put Elfie down and we'll jump straight into the demo. Right. There you go. Okay, so as I'm switching over to demo, this is a great opportunity for you to like and subscribe. I'm an independent app developer and I've got loads of apps in the marketplace and I'm always pushing updates out there. So please do hit that like and subscribe button. Okay, so I'm going to quickly start by just showing you the quickest thing, which is the character and the app icon. So you can see here, it's next to the photos. It's a little camera character, much improved over the last version. So a really talented designer did this for me and I think it's awesome. As we kind of click onto it, you can see that we get like a nice colorful big version. This is actually going to be animated, so somebody else is going to do some animations for me. I kind of envisage this character kind of like strutting on and waving and maybe like jumping up and doing like lots of fun things like that, perhaps peering around the corner. I've tried to add a little bit of like, movement to this. So you'll see that the gradient box is actually just moving ever so slightly. And you'll see that the pop snap letters at the top have got a little wave. They could probably be like amped up a little bit. In case you don't know what Pop Snap is, it's an app that I built in 5 days. It's a bit of a challenge to go from concept into the app stores on iOS and on Android, which I've done. And I'm giving the app a little bit of a refresh. So very quickly, you can basically just select your photographs. Okay, hang on a minute. What's happening here? Okay, so the link doesn't seem to be working. So let me just quickly show you on here. It allows you to essentially pick your photos and then you can choose a few stickers. So you can kind of make your ultimate meme moments. When you're happy, you can save it out and you can then share that onto social media. I don't know what was going on with the Android link there. So anyway, on to the meat of this update, which is the new CMS. So CMSs is something that I actually create for all of my apps. PopSnap was always it was built so quickly and it was so simple, there was never really a need for it. But essentially I build them in Flutter. This is running on in Flutter and this is deployed to the web. So this is essentially a Chrome web app. I'm using Firebase for the authentication and I'm doing all of the permissions in the custom claims, which is basically a little bit of data that you can kind of attach to the authentication object. The really nice thing about doing it this way is not only does it mean that I can have kind of granular control over which tools people get access to, but I can also do things like limit the database, read, write, read, create, update, delete based on what permissions people have. It's a really kind of cool, smart little way to do it. If you're interested in me kind of delving a little bit deeper into that, then please leave a message. And if enough people ask for it, then I'll do a video on that and show some code and things like that. Okay, so this is the import tool. What we're going to do here is we're going to import some stickers. So I've got 3 here that I'm going to import. So what just happened there is I've uploaded the SVGs into the app. Well, not uploaded actually, it's still sat on my client, but the app has then processed those. It's done a process where it's actually kind of done lots of checks to make sure that it's actually valid and it decodes as an SVG and that it meets certain criteria, i.e. not too big, not too many colors, that kind of thing. It's then actually kind of done things like normalized all of the colors to kind of standardize their format. It's moved all of the styling onto the XML attributes rather than the CSS styling, because then that leaves the CSS for me to be able to do something that I have named internally as variable colors. So variable colors are essentially allow me to map somebody's skin tones. And this is an idea that I actually came up with while I was live filming the previous devlog. I was talking about I wanted to add color manipulation, and it just occurred to me that actually I could do skin tones, because skin tones are something that previously I've always avoided in my apps, because for me, if the vast majority of these stickers that we can license are tied to they always seem to show white skin tones, and that I don't like that idea. If I'm going to show skin tones at all, I want them to be diverse. So so here, what we can do is we can kind of create a new variable color for this person, and I say that this is a person. You can also say it's an emoji or it's unknown. Everything's unknown by default. The idea behind this is when somebody opens PopSnap for the first time, it will ask them, it will show them various pictures and say, you know, which skin tones would you like to see? From then forward, any skin tones they see within the app will be the ones that they've selected, which is great. You know, I love the idea that people can open up this app and they can see the fairies and Santa Claus and things like that in the same skin tone as they are. I think that's kind of, you know, something that a lot of apps are missing. The reason I differentiate between people and emoji is I think emojis are going to be like, you're going to have to opt in for that. So basically, emojis by default will be just the emoji color, like yellow or green or whatever the emoji, like the artist wanted to convey. But people's skin tones will always be what you've suggested. You can always change them. But anyway, let's move on. Right, okay, so I've selected a skin base tone, and we can now see that we've got the original file here, and it's actually this is in demo mode, so it's going through, it's cycling through different skin tones. This is not what it will look like on the client app. This is just so the editor can see what, you know, the changes that they're making. So we can see here that inside the ear and under the neck, there's a shadow. So basically we can add that by mapping that to a skin tone shadow. And that looks great. Although I can see the nose is actually also should be a shadow. So I'm going to tap on that one. Okay, I think these skin tones look great. There is actually a blush on the cheeks, and I could map that. But in this instance, the artist has put such low opacity on that actually I think it looks better without that. And you can check that it looks okay by clicking this button here, and it shows you the different variations. So yeah, I think these look good. The other thing I can quickly do is hair tones. Now these won't be changed by default in the app, but they will be available for people to change. So it will have like a little icon, and you'll be able to click on it and you can choose the hair color that you want, just for a bit of extra fun. But they won't be changed by default. So I've just done that. We can see now that those have applied on this character here, and we've got the skin and hair mapped and a little person icon. Now, rather than doing all of these individually, what I can do is I can just copy the color tags, and because the hair colors are different in this instance, I'm just going to copy the skin tags, and then I'm going to paste it onto all of the images. And we can see now that they're working. So I'll quickly map the hair colors here. Oh, this is might be a tricky one. Is that? Yeah, that's the one. And that one maybe? Yeah. And finally this blue one. Okay, I'm happy with that. These look good. I kind of double check. They all look nice. And I'm gonna, oops, I need to basically add in the details for this sticker. So the sheet reference, this is so it can map everything up. And this is the artist that the graphics have been licensed from. And then we basically submit these. Okay, so they're uploading now into, so from this point, they're moving from the client and they're going into the server. What's actually happening here is it's generating thumbnails, not for the hair colors, but for the skin tones. Because as well as storing the actual vector file, the app also creates thumbnails, rastered versions of those, which are much quicker in some instances. Some vector files can be like, you know, 100K, whereas like a little thumbnail WebP file, you know, is kind of a couple of K. So this will make like, you know, it just look a lot. It will kind of feel a lot more responsive when you're actually kind of browsing hundreds of stickers in the client app. So we can see here that we've got the processing queue, and there's 252 stickers here. So this is really cool. I've got somebody helping me kind of put these stickers into here, which is awesome. So this will be a nice thing. You know, my goal is to kind of get to like around maybe like 10,000 stickers, and then I'm going to move on to animations. I also want speech bubbles as well. I've got loads of ideas of where I want to take this app, but kind of one thing at a time. This has been like quite a big update to actually get to the point that I've kind of got this asset management tool in the CMS now. So from here, I can basically either click on these to go straight in and start processing them, or I could long press if I want to edit them, or I could use the options here, and I could also download the SVG, edit, or delete the file. So if I'd realized that there was a mistake in this particular file, I could, you know, long press on it here. It's restaged now, and I could kind of, you know, go in there and basically update. But I'm not going to do it in this case. So I'm just going to go straight in, and I'm going to basically start editing these fairies. Now, we just did 3 fairies there, but actually this was a pack of 9, and I'd already previously uploaded the previous 6 before I started filming, just to kind of speed things up a little bit. But here we can see that we've got all of our fairies, and these have all passed all the integrity checks. Now the integrity checks are, it's about kind of 10 or so things that it runs through for every file to make sure that at this point here, they're 100%, you know, uploaded, processed, all the thumbnails are in place, you know, everything looks hunky-dory basically. So that's you know, a nice way to make sure that there's not going to be kind of like any dodgy files, you know, like with broken thumbnails or something. And it actually shows you we've got the SVG cycling here, and we've got the thumbnails generated here. Cool thing about the way that it's doing the SVGs, I'm tagging the nodes with the skin and the hair with basically CSS classes, and then I inject the CSS to do the customization. It's just like a really nice clean way, and it means that basically the app could just load all of these stickers and just inject its styles, and the stickers will update. It doesn't really need to know any kind of like, you know, information about that. Like it's all kind of baked into the SVG, which is a kind of quite an elegant solution for doing that. A quick shout out to the Flutter library that I'm using for all the SVG stuff. It's called Jovial SVG, and it's written by a guy called Bill Jovial. He's really cool, really awesome guy. He's helped me out. It seems like doing this kind of thing, discovered quite a few edge cases with his package, but he's been super responsive and really helpful, and we've kind of had to make a couple of changes here and there to kind of get this stuff working. And yeah, so big shout out to Jovial SVG. It's a really cool package. I would suggest you check it out if you're a Flutter dev. So you can see here now the next stage is that we want to kind of process this information and get it ready for use within the app. And to do that, need to put all this information in. So previously, the version that we've just seen that's live on the stores right now has so little information. It's just got basically a bunch of keywords that make the search work. Whereas this new version is going to be so much richer. Every sticker will have a title, a description, a list of the subject matter, a list of the styles that are used, any embedded text, description, keywords, like these are now conceptual attributes, like keywords associated with this, the moods that it conveys, the themes, any related kind of concepts, like what would you see this sticker like in and around, and is it animated, is it wearable, is it outlined, and then the age groups that it's visible to and targeting, and then is there any mature themes. So that's a whole load of content, and like literally it would take me probably like 10 minutes to kind of do each individual sticker. So this is where I've supercharged it with Gemini. So we have this really cool little option now, is that I can just basically generate the metadata. So I'll just hit this. I could provide additional context as to what this sticker is if I wanted, but I'm not going to in this case. I'm just going to hit the generate button. So this is now generating for this particular sticker. It does take a moment, costs maybe about 500 tokens to do image analysis and return the data back in a really nice JSON object that I can then pull all the information out of. But we can see here we've got happy fairy, and subject matter is fairy wings and dress, styles, cartoon, cute, children's illustration. A cheery fairy with blue hair and playful pose. So you can see that's just, you know, and it's done all of this stuff as well. It said who it's visible to, and it said who it's targeting, and said that there's no mature themes. Mature themes are things like, you know, does it show alcohol or something like that, in which case we'd kind of make sure that it's not going to be visible to for kids. So you can see that's really cool. I'll quickly show you an example of the context. So this lets you, for instance, one of the sticker packs is, you know, 150 country flags, and in here I could say make sure that you include the country flag name and the country code, the 2-letter country code, and it would do that. It would make sure that that information is included. But I could also do fun things like, well, it was Talk Like a Pirate Day last week, so let's say you are a pirate, start the title with ahoy. And we'll generate that. And you can also, you know, get it to respond in a different language. That might have been a more sensible demonstration. Ahoy, it be a flying fairy. So that's pretty cool. And what I'm going to do now is basically, rather than generate them individually, I'm just going to say generate them all, and I don't want any particular context. So now you can see here that it's generating them. It's doing it in batches of 3, just because I don't want to get rate limited by Gemini. So we can see there it's overwritten that ahoy. And I realized when I did this, it was like, this is cool. I'm getting loads of information, but it's not 100% consistent. So for instance, this one says styles cartoon, and this one says illustration. Well, both of those are good answers, and it's just not consistent. I didn't want someone to search for illustration, then half of the fairies would disappear. So I've added this enhance feature, which is basically like a second pass. So then it takes all of the information. So it shows you here that we have 7 subjects, 5 styles, 37 keywords. I can then toggle these on and off. Some situations I might not want to share perhaps the subject matter. There might be very different stickers, or so I have control of this. And then what it does is when I actually do this, is it presents all of those back to Gemini and says, for this image here, do these apply? And then basically what it's doing is it's enhancing each of all of the metadata. And you can just see for this one here in front of our eyes, it just updated. So it's a really kind of cool way to kind of normalize and basically enrich the metadata. So it's just finishing off the last few. I'm just going to do a quick once up and down. For some reason, it thinks that's wearable, perhaps because it's talking about the dress. I'm just going to untoggle that and that one. Might need to look into why it's suggesting they're wearables. Just going to double check all of these as I go down. As you can see, it's also picked out the prominent colors for these. So they all look good. This all looks pretty good to me. Yeah, so they're all good. So I'm basically going to submit these now, and that will save them into the database. So let's do that. Oh, sorry, provide a collection name. See, I need to add a Gemini button to this because I'm useless at this kind of thing. Fairy, is fairies? I think that's how you spell fairies. I am dyslexic, so apologies if it's incorrect. I can update that later. So I'm going to basically call these a new set of fairies, and basically I'm going to submit those. So these are now basically being moved into the processed table in Firestore, and it's saving back all of those, all that metadata that we've just generated. And it's also tagging the imported items as now complete, so they'll be no longer in the import queue. So it looks like it's almost done. So the final 3 stickers are getting imported, and we're done. Okay, so we'll see now that our fairies have left the processing queue, and they're now in our completed queue. So you can see here that, I basically, so basically you can see here that they're available. I've only actually got 31 stickers that have been processed right now. You can see that they're all queuing up for me to kind of go through and do, but it's quite a quick process. I would rather have this little phase. I mean, I could fully automate this. I could just automatically, if the validations tests pass, then generate the file. But I would rather have, a level of quality in my app. And I'm really kind of keen to make sure that things like the skin tones are correct. But I just love the idea that, little boys and girls can open this and they can kind of add fairies, and they're going to be all the skin colors that represent, them and their families and things like that. I just think that's a really cool thing. So, I think it's been fun to kind of mess around with using Flutter on the client. So, using Gemini on the Flutter client. Previously, I've always used Flutter in like an endpoint or in a script. So that's been really fun. I've kind of got loads of cool plans of what I kind of want to do next. I'm going to be adding animations into this. So not only exporting flat images, but you're going to be able to export videos, which will be awesome. So you can have animated stickers, and just really cool kind of things for social media. The next update will probably be quite a big one for the client, because all of this data right now is just sat in Firestore. I will create the next phase will be basically to create a search file, like a I think I'm going to move away from SQLite. I think it will still use SQLite under the hood, but there's some really cool kind of Flutter database technology packages that I would like to explore. So I'm going to have a little play with those and see how the full text search works. And I'm going to kind of get the UI tools built into the client, so you can basically, go and manipulate the colors within the app. And yeah, I think it's coming along really well. I think it's a big step forward. I'm quite excited now that somebody's on board and actually kind of going to be cutting up these stickers for me. That's going to be great. It's going to move quite quickly. So if you've made it this long into the video, I just want to say a big thank you. Please do make sure that you like and subscribe, and I'll give you some more interesting updates in the not too distant future.